what up, people? So Mr. Motherfucking R here today, of course, to give you guys Kuroko No Basket Chew episode 7 motherfucking review. And this week's episode is basically pretty simple. Basically, engine of fucking gas tie because there's no overtime, and apparently they're gonna retest their skills, or they're gonna go at it again to see who the ultimate winner is in the Winter Cup. So, fuck it, tie. And besides that, they got a new opponent in their next game, which is gonna give them a tough time, apparently, and they've been gunning for them. And besides that, Flashback. There you go. That was absolutely no joke. And the Flashback was basically the founding of the Syrian basketball club. Because when they originally got there, there was no basketball club the first year that the school was open. And they had to create their own. And so, as I see it, they were basically just showing us how it was actually created. It was actually a pretty nice flashback. I mean, it was interesting to see how they created it. And Teppei also, apparently, this is going to be his last year, and after this, apparently he's willing to destroy his fucking, he's going to destroy his knee. He's really going to. Because apparently this is going to be his last year. I'm assuming bad news with his leg. Because they still have not fully given the whole reason of how Teppei's leg has been damaged, really. All we know is that it happened like last year in the Winter Cup, I believe, in the games. And that was it. Like, there wasn't really yeah, so how Teppei injured his leg, well, we haven't actually been told yet, and so I'm assuming that this flashback next week will continue and it'll show how Teppei's leg got injured. But basically, it was just Teppei coming to school, and we got to see fucking Junpei, Hyuga, this motherfucker, Hyuga. We got to see him with fucking blonde hair like a fucking douchebag, talking about becoming the head of the school. He's tired of losing, and apparently, he knows who Teppei is, and so do his friends. Like, he knows exactly who he is. Both Teppei and Junpei have both tasted defeat, and they both took it a little bit differently how I see it. They both experienced defeat during middle school, except Teppei took it a little bit differently. And the only reason why he went to the school in the first place is because his parents, or at least his grandparents, people he lives with, are old, and he didn't want to move, go far away for school. He wanted to stay with them. And so I'm just basically waiting, because we got to meet the old man. We got to meet the old version. We got to meet the younger version of the manager. And so I was like, yo, why not? I'm digging it. I'm like, okay, fuck it, why not? And how she only wants people that are really 100% into it, and them forming up the club and finding members like that. Like it wasn't even really a challenge. Like, they didn't do signs or anything. They already had like 3 off the bat. Well, 2 off the bat, and they just assumed Hyuga. But Hyuga's going through this whole like rebellion thing where he's like, but I don't like basketball anymore. I quit it. And Teppei's like, well, if you quit it, then why the fuck you talking like this? Like, after they're having the game. And Hyuga didn't make one fucking shot, by the way. And Teppei and Hyuga are going through this whole bonding experience where basically Teppei's saying like, yo, I'm not no crazy ass prodigy. Like, I'm really not. I'm just a hard worker. I've worked hard to get where I am. And that's what he's really saying. Like, he isn't like one of these gifted like generation miracles, because once these motherfuckers came, they swept shop. They fucked everybody up. And so all these new high school kids that were coming up and they're going to play high school basketball, they just came from such horrific defeats by the generation of miracles that it broke a lot of their wills. And while we saw both sides of it, really, we saw Teppei and how he lost, but he just used that as more fuel, and he still wanted to play basketball. But Hyuga, on the other hand, he lost, and after losing constantly in such humiliation and all this, he just stopped playing. And it reiterates back to the whole manager thing about how ever since Generation of Miracles came up, ever since that event when they showed up, it just created like a new generation of basketball players that are just used to losing. They come from losing and they just give up. They don't strive forward because they never really experience victory, especially when the Generation of Miracles are involved. No, fuck that. They were getting fucked up. Like, yeah, fuck. Niggas could be sleeping. It wouldn't matter. Just send Almane out there. The team's done. Just Almane. Just saying. But yeah, it was a pretty simple episode. I mean, it had its funny moments and all that, but basically, it turns out it wasn't a victory, and I was pissed off at that. I was like, oh, well, apparently there's no overtime, so fuck it. We'll see how it goes next time. And the next opponent, like I said before, should apparently become a major threat, and this should be a good game. But we'll just have to see. But this flashback, I'm assuming it's gonna drag on till at least half of next week's episode. And they better fucking show how teppei fucked up his leg. I want to see the game. I want to see exactly what happened, and I want to get the whole story about why is this going to be his last year. Why is he willing to destroy his leg? Is this the last time he's ever going to play basketball? What's the whole deal? What's going on? And that was basically the episode. That was like it. And overall, I'll give it an 8 out of 10 this week. Yeah. It was a good episode overall, but it had its okay moments in. If you weren't really digging the flashbacks that much, I don't know. I mean, the game ended in a gay-ass tie, so fuck it. No overtime. What can I say? No overtime. But either way, we might actually see some previous matches before the Generation of Miracles showed up and how basketball was back then, or at least we might see the match where teppei got fucked up and got injured. Or, who knows, we just might go through a marathon, all this constant damage to his knee until one day it just gave out. We'll see how it goes. But either way, it was 8 out of 10. It was good with okay moments in it. And so with that being said, Smithers to my fucking R. Peace the fuck out.